Have you ever looked in the mirror and felt like the man staring back was wasting his potential? Not because he's weak, not because he's incapable, but because there's something quietly eating away at his fire. Laziness. It hides behind excuses. It whispers, "I'll start tomorrow." It pretends to be rest, but steals your energy, your time, and your manhood. If you've ever felt like you were built for more, but your days don't match your dreams, this video is for you, because I'm not going to give you cute little productivity tips. I'm giving you the 6 brutal, necessary moves that changed my life. The moves that took me from lazy to legendary. This isn't about motivation, it's about transformation. It's about breaking the chains of passivity and rising as a man with fire in his discipline, steel in his habits, and purpose in his every move. In this video, we're going deep. We'll tap into ancient Stoic wisdom, powerful truths from history, and hard-earned lessons from modern life to help you kill the lazy version of yourself and unleash the man you were meant to become. Because the world doesn't need another distracted, passive, addicted to comfort man. It needs men who are sharp, dangerous, disciplined, awake. You were not born to be average. You were born to become a force. So if you're ready to walk through fire and come out stronger, wiser, and more disciplined than you've ever been, let's begin the journey. Like this video. Share it with a man who needs to wake up. Subscribe for more real, raw, and powerful wisdom. And drop a comment below. What's the one lazy habit you're ready to destroy today? Chapter 1. Face the lie. Laziness isn't rest. It's resistance. Laziness disguises itself well. It walks into your life wearing the mask of rest, relaxation, and self-care. But beneath that mask is something far more dangerous: resistance. The quiet force that convinces a man to delay his destiny. The voice that tells him, "You've done enough," when deep down, he knows he's barely scratched the surface. To go from lazy to legendary, the first move is simple but soul-shaking. You must expose laziness for what it really is. Fear in disguise. You're not tired. You're not out of time. You're avoiding something. And behind that avoidance is often the fear of failure or the fear of responsibility. The Stoic philosopher Seneca once said, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it." Let that hit you. Most men are not struggling because they lack time. They're struggling because they've been tricked into believing their laziness is normal, that drifting is acceptable, that comfort is the reward. But comfort is not a reward, it's a prison. And every time you choose to avoid discomfort, you strengthen the bars that keep you locked inside the mediocre version of yourself. Laziness doesn't show up in just sleeping in or skipping a workout. It shows up when you choose scrolling over building. It shows up when you talk about goals but never set deadlines. It shows up every time you choose pleasure over progress and call it balance. Understand this: a man at war with laziness is not at war with energy. He's at war with the part of himself that wants to stay small. And the truth is, staying small is easy. No risk, no failure, no pressure, but no legacy either. If you're listening to this right now, something inside you wants more, and that desire is holy. It's a signal from the man you were created to be, calling you to rise. But to get there, you must kill the lie. You must look your laziness in the face and say, "You are not my friend, you are the voice of my destruction." Legendary men are not men without laziness. They are men who recognize it early, call it out, and move anyway. And that's the key: movement. Even small steps create momentum. And momentum kills laziness faster than any motivational quote ever could. History is filled with men who were tempted to quit, but didn't. Winston Churchill battled deep depression and doubt, yet said, "If you're going through hell, keep going." Marcus Aurelius ruled an empire, fought wars, suffered illness and betrayal, and still wrote, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one." These weren't perfect men, but they were disciplined enough to understand one eternal truth. Laziness is always lying to you. It tells you you're too tired to train, too unmotivated to build, too far gone to begin. But these are just shadows. They vanish when you step into the light of consistent action. You don't need to feel inspired. You don't need to wait for clarity. You need to move your feet, clean the room, open the book, make the call, start the routine. The smallest move in the direction of discipline is more powerful than the greatest idea trapped in the mind of a lazy man, because one day your life will either be a story of discipline that built something real, or excuses that explained why you never did. So here's your first move from lazy to legendary. Stop calling it rest when it's actually avoidance. Stop calling it tired when it's really fear. Name the resistance. Then take action, no matter how small, to tear it down. You are not lazy by nature. You've just been too kind to the part of you that wants to stay average. Kill that kindness. Move anyway. Drop a comment below. What lie has laziness told you? And what truth will you act on today? Chapter 2. Build a discipline that doesn't care how you feel. Discipline doesn't care about your emotions. It doesn't care if you're tired, unmotivated, or in the mood. It shows up. Rain or shine, fire or fog. The second move that changed my life was this. I stopped negotiating with my feelings and started obeying my standards. Most lazy men wait to feel like it. Disciplined men don't ask how they feel. They ask, what's the mission today? Jocko Willink said it best, discipline equals freedom. But the truth is, most men don't believe that, because in the moment, discipline feels like death. It feels like dying to comfort, to urges, to mood. And that's exactly what it is, the death of your weaker self. Understand this. Laziness is always emotional. It's tied to your mood. It's tied to what's easy. It flows with the moment. But discipline is spiritual. It's tied to your purpose. It walks in truth, not temptation. The ancient Stoics knew this. Epictetus once said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." To master yourself, you have to live by a standard that isn't shaken by your mood. I remember waking up some mornings with zero motivation, but I had a plan, and the plan wasn't up for debate. So I stopped arguing with my feelings. I stopped letting my emotions vote. I moved, tired, sore, uninspired. And that move changed everything, because your brain starts to notice, this man doesn't flinch. He does what he said he would do. And that's how you build trust in yourself. That trust becomes identity. That identity becomes momentum, and momentum becomes power. See, the difference between a lazy man and a disciplined man isn't that one feels better, it's that one acts better. No matter how he feels, your environment should be a weapon, sharpened daily to shape your mind, crush laziness, and push you toward your mission. Legendary men don't live in passive spaces, they live in intentional ones, because they know you rise to the level of your habits, and your habits are fed by your environment. Look at ancient warriors. They trained in harsh conditions, slept on stone, ate with purpose, woke with intention. Why? Because soft surroundings make soft men. You don't need to move into the mountains, but you do need to stop living like every moment is casual. You need to treat your room like a gym, your phone like a tool, your time like a treasure, and your energy like gold, because lazy men let their environment shape them. Disciplined men shape their environment to match the man they're becoming. When you walk into your space, you should feel it. This is where I become dangerous. This is where I outgrow my old self. So ask yourself, is your environment training you to rise or draining you into routine and weakness? You get to decide. Comment below. Build a stronger environment. Chapter 4. Pain is not the enemy, it's the entrance to power. Here's the truth no one wants to say out loud. Laziness is just a strategy to avoid pain. But that same pain, the one you've been avoiding, is the very gate that leads to power, greatness, and purpose. The fourth move that changed my life was this. I stopped running from pain. and started learning from it. You cannot go from lazy to legendary without a deep relationship with pain. Why? Because growth hurts. Because real change doesn't happen in comfort. Because the muscles of a disciplined life are only built under resistance. We live in a culture that trains men to escape discomfort. Pop a pill, skip the hard talk, sleep in, take the shortcut. But what if the very pain you're trying to avoid is the very thing that's trying to build you? The Stoics had no illusions about this. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Just as nature takes every obstacle, every impediment, and works around it, so too a rational being can turn every challenge into fuel." Pain in the hands of a wise man becomes power, but in the hands of a lazy man it becomes a prison. You must choose. Every time you feel pain, physical, emotional, mental, you're given a decision. Will I shrink or will I rise? And make no mistake, the pain will come. Waking up early when your body begs to sleep, that's pain. Pushing through another rep when your arms shake, that's pain. Starting the business, fixing the relationship, saying no to what you crave, all of it hurts. But if you keep waiting for a life without pain, you'll wait yourself into a wasted life. The question isn't, how do I avoid pain? It's, how do I endure it, transform it, and let it sharpen me? Here's how I did it. 1. Reframe the pain. When you feel it, the discomfort, the doubt, the fatigue, don't say, "This hurts." Say, "This is the sound of my old self breaking." Every ache is proof you're stepping into a stronger version of yourself. 2. Let pain reveal what matters. When something hurts, look closer. Why does it hurt? What are you clinging to? What are you afraid of losing? Pain is often a teacher pointing to the part of your life that's still weak. 3. Train with pain on purpose. Do things that stretch you, cold showers, long runs, fasting, silence. Expose yourself to voluntary hardship and the involuntary storms of life won't break you. 4. Worship progress, not ease. You weren't built for comfort. You were built for glory, and glory demands sweat, scars, and discipline. When you stop avoiding pain, something wild happens. You become unstoppable, because now, when the hard moments come, and they always will, you won't fold. You'll lean in. You'll remember, this is where men are made. And slowly your identity changes. You stop seeing yourself as the lazy one. You start seeing yourself as the fighter, the builder, the man who doesn't quit. And the world will feel that. Your presence will carry weight, not because life got easier, but because you got stronger. Pain isn't the enemy. It's the fire that burns the weakness out of you. And if you walk through it with courage, with discipline, and with purpose, you don't just survive, you rise. Comment below, pain builds power. Pain, you weren't born lazy. You were born powerful. Born with a fire inside you that the world tried to smother. But somewhere along the way, you believed the lie. That comfort was your friend. That ease was the goal. That rest without work could satisfy your soul. But now you know the truth. Discipline is the door. Pain is the path. Environment is the forge. And every small move you make, every action, every refusal to quit, is a strike that shapes the legend you're becoming. You don't have to wait until you feel ready. You don't have to wait until the world believes in you. You don't even have to wait for motivation. You just have to decide, I will no longer live beneath the man I was meant to be. So move, show up early, push when you're tired, clean the room, leave the weak circle, do the reps. And when it hurts, smile, because that's proof you're no longer who you used to be. From lazy to legendary, one move at a time. Like this video. Share it with a man who's ready to break free. Subscribe for more powerful lessons like this. And drop a comment below. I'm done with lazy.